Hey, welcome to the Black Knight Nation podcast. I'm your host, Sal Interdonato. The Black Knight Nation podcast is brought to you by Higher Echelon. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence. Higher Echelon is owned by Joe Ross, former Army fullback, former Army assistant coach, and former Army officer. And we're going to bring back for the second time on the Black Knight Nation podcast, former Army football captain Andrew King. Andrew, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier in the week about these new Army Navy, the Army jerseys for the Army Navy game, right? And how "United We Stand" is the slogan. And I saw at the bottom of the website there, it said that Andrew King was involved in the jersey. So I texted you and I asked you what the deal was, and tell us a little bit about how that happened. That I guess you were the photos that we see of the jerseys for the promos are you.
Yeah. So fortunately, they asked me if I would be willing to do it, and of course, I jumped at any opportunity to be a part of Army football. So it was no brainer for me. Being my second time doing this, I was involved in the 10th Mountain photos as well. But yeah, so yeah, these jerseys are awesome, and what they represent, what they stand for, is even better than how they look. So yeah, as being a part of that is very special.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11, right? It's a couple months after the 20th anniversary, actually. So this is being played at MetLife Stadium, right? And I know, Andrew, you grew up in New York, right? I don't know if Giant Stadium is a place or MetLife Stadium is a place where you watch football games. Was it when you were a kid or now?
Maybe named differently.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's pretty close to the city, pretty close to where 9/11 happened. And I know that 9/11 is something that you hold close to with your dad, right? So I mean, it's just, I mean, what do you think? Are you going to be at this the game next Saturday? Or
Absolutely, I had this circled as soon as they announced it was going to be held at MetLife. I circled a couple years back, knowing I was going to be at this game.
What do you think it's going to mean to be in the stands for this one, and to has a lot of meaning there, maybe for you and as an Army football player, and just
Yeah, it's a very consequential game. I don't know who was broadcasting or said it, but Army Navy game, everyone on the field is willing to die for everybody watching, and it holds true, and it speaks true, especially to the events that happened 9/11 and the subsequent war and terror. It's very moving. It's one of the top reasons why I decided to go to military academy was because of 9/11. And then now we're getting to it's kind of weird. Now we're getting to the time where most of the people who are playing in the game weren't even alive when 9/11 happened. And to show that we were actually still remembering the day and what our country went through and continues to go through just to fight from that specific day is special.
I think Coach Munkin says it. I know he says it during Veterans Day too. It's a day that you shouldn't just remember for one day, right? You should remember it every day. And I know that, especially when you're an Army football player and you know what's next after you graduate. I mean, I'm sure that certainly rings true, right? I mean, just that, hey, every day we're allowed to have the freedoms that we have in this country, right? It is a blessed day. I think, and I don't know how you feel about that, but I thought it was pretty powerful for Coach to say that. I know that he's patriotism is he tops with him too. So I don't know how you feel about that what he said and what that means.
I think Coach Munkin wants to win football games, and I think he understands what needs to go. But the process needs to happen, especially at West Point, to do that. And the first thing we need to be is a team that cares about each other and understands our bigger purpose. he understands that most of the guys that are play aren't going to go to the next level, but they're going to go and join an even better team and serve our country. So, yeah, so that sentiment, remembering like veterans and the service to our country is like is big, and I think we need to hold on to that.
No doubt. I know I was talking to Andre Carter. Not in a press conference. I just asked him a question, maybe a little bit about Josh McNary. And I know how like Coach Monken was big on sending letters to former Army players. When did you do that, Andrew? Did you have a guy that you sent a letter to that was in the past that might have been out there serving, or just somebody that you were looking up to when you were a player? And how that brotherhood is kind of born, right? I mean, not born. It's just it continues. It lives on.
Yeah. So actually, my first letters when we first started doing it, we were sending out letters. My first letter was to General Ray Ordinero, and rest in peace. But yeah, my first letter was to him, and he responded to me. So yeah, he was still out there, chief of staff, and he was serving. And he came back. Anytime he came to the academy, he made it a point to see me.
Wow.
So it's very special, and that connection, it matters. The small things we do like within the brotherhood, but it matters to see that the current players are reaching out to foreign players, just ask for advice how life is very important.
Yeah, I'm sure right now. I mean, there's some teammates of yours, your Army teammates, are out there serving right now overseas and defending our country. You hear the story about Ray Wright and JD Moat in Afghanistan in the airport. Those are guys who are maybe 2 years removed from the Army football team, right? I mean, they're out there protecting people's freedoms and getting people to safety, and it's unbelievable just the stories you hear from that. And I'm sure there's more to tell. And I don't know, just you see, like, you're watching the Army Navy game, right? And you always see that feed where they pan to a base overseas, and you have the Army soldiers watching. And I know you got to know that probably within that group of soldiers, there's a guy who played in this game, right? Or a guy who's connected in the game somehow, some way. And man, you were involved in an emotional Army Navy game, right? Your senior year. And I can only imagine, like, just the pride that you guys had broke the streak that year, right? You broke the Navy streak that year, and just to see all those people rush the stadium, which the field, which I was on, and praying for my life that I didn't get ran over, and trying to. But there were guys, I know there were guys, the former Army players, I know there were guys who had served in the Army who were maybe back or retired that rushed the field during that game, Andrew. And that's
absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't get a lot more powerful than that. I don't know if you were able, I know it's in the moment, so I don't know if that you were able to share that moment with any former player or former, former Army officer or soldier. But man, that's good stuff.
It was pandemonium after Ahmad took the last knee. It finally hit me, and then saw people rushing the stands from the stands. But I couldn't breathe for a while. I mean, I could breathe, but it was like it's surreal. But that's what we go into the Army Navy game every year, and we expected to win. And just to see our hard work come to fruition there was very special, and I know that meant a lot to the brotherhood. Everybody who watched Army football and supports Army football for years. I know I went to a lot of home games this year, and this meeting, lifelong Army fans, they're like, yeah, I've been watching Army football for 40 years and been coming to these games for 40 years, and they specifically mentioned that year and beating Navy, how that meant, how special that was to them. So.
And I know being the captain on that team, right? I know that you're pretty visible, right? So maybe people, when you go back to Mikey Stadium, they might recognize you, right? But that was also a team that, man, it was on a mission, right? That wasn't just a couple of players. That was a group of guys that wanted to get this done, right? I mean, you look at the older guys who have been through a little bit of the battles and we're waiting for that moment. And you look at the younger players who kind of continued it after you guys left. I mean, there was a group of just you guys were united, no doubt, to end that streak. It seemed like.
Yeah, it was determined. I would say like in the spring, our winter workouts, how everything we did was for that moment. You win those late games late in the season from the work you did in the off season. I remember specifically just talking to the freshmen when they first came in at camp and saying how important it was for them to feel a part of this, a part of like the brotherhood, because they had an opportunity at that point to be the first team to not lose to any service academy, and I think they did pretty well, won some CICs and beat them. So they were able to carry that legacy on. And obviously, the junior class that was behind me this carried the torch. So that's pretty great.
That freshman class has got guys like what? That was the Eli class, right?
Yeah.
And Kel and Jalen McClinton and Kelvin Hopkins. I'm probably missing guys too that really got on the field kind of almost early in their careers. And Kel Walker, that 2016 game, Kel Walker was playing fullback and getting a good amount of the carries, back then, right? I mean, that was like the secret,
everyone needed to contribute. It was a definite full team effort there.
Yeah, that was an amazing game. To be on the field, like I said, is one I've had some really great experiences covering Army football. That's probably number one. I think that's definitely number one. Number two is being at the Armed Forces Bowl in 2010 and seeing Army win the bowl game there against SMU. But yeah, I mean, God, that breaking the streak is definitely number one. What do you since 2016, Army's had a lot of success in the Army-Navy game. They just the one hiccup, and now this year, the team is 8-3 going in. Navy has the opposite record with 3 wins, and you think that Army's going to be favored in this game, and they got to win it, the Commander-in-Chief's trophy outright. They got to win this game, right? It's not and to get that trip to the White House, which they didn't take last year when they won the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. So, just what we talk a lot about this on this podcast about how this game is so much different than any other game in college football, right? Because we know the two opponents are rivals, and we know that you guys, when you graduate, you could be serving in somewhere together or somewhere in the same mission, possibly. Who knows? Can you describe what this game is like, Andrew? I mean, can you describe because I've been on the field for these games, and man, it's unlike no other. Everybody gives it every single ounce of energy that they got. The kicker, the holder, the punter, everybody down the line. And can you describe to us a little bit what it's like playing in these games?
Yeah, I've tried to think about that through the year, how to describe the Army-Navy rivalry. To me, it's like you grow up across from your neighbor, and they have kids, and every day you play a different sport and you try to beat them, right? And then eventually, like you'll get older, and then you'll leave that block, right? And then you have to be together. You're like, hey, we're from the same place, we're going to the same mission. It's like that. It's it's for bragging rights, it's for everything. You win that game, you have bragging rights for the next year at least, and then for the seniors that graduate, they'll never have to play them again, right? So you better win, and then you can hold that over. If you ever see a Naval Academy grad again, like, yeah, we never lost you guys, we're 4-0, or we won a CIC, or you came to Mikey Stadium, we beat you. Like that's some like bragging rights you hold over, and it's a game that's you don't feel the bigger picture like when you're in it. You just know you want to win the game, but once you're outside and looking in, and the brotherhood really cares about this. The Army fans really care about what happens in this game. And obviously, you talked about panning to Army soldiers and then the seamen out there watching this game, because they care about it too, because their commanders or their officers in front of that were in charge of them probably went to Naval Academy, and they're like, hey, we're going to watch the Army game. Like, I know we have an important mission to do, but we're going to watch this game and see what happens, see how our future leaders fight on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going to ask you what it's like in the locker room, right? Because the top people in the Army, right, generals are at these games, right? I mean, they're in the locker rooms. And then you have former Army football players that might be in the locker room too. I know we had Pete Dawkins on last week. Pete Dawkins is going to be at the Army-Navy game, right? And Pete Dawkins always has a presence in the program. Man, and then president could be there, right? With the coin flip in 2016. Yes or no with the president? I'm trying to remember.
I think so. 2016, that was election year. So I think the election happened,
oh yeah, maybe not.
And then
maybe
it was
not.
like,
Okay, so Trump did
but
not attend. Trump
I
didn't.
know. I think he was like he came, but I don't think he was at the coin toss.
I got you.
He was the Secretary of Defense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was in the booth. Yeah, I think he was in the booth during the game. Yeah, but still, Secretary of Defense being at flipping the coin, right? I mean, man, to just think how many stars are on that, in military or in attendance in that game, right? It's crazy. Absolutely. Whether they're active or retired, it's just like total respect. And you talked about before with General Odierno, that guy did not miss an Army-Navy game, right? I mean, he was there, and wow. Yeah, it's a week away, right? And the hype is this week with the jerseys, right? And the Special Forces Command is highlighted in the Army jerseys. And, Andrew, they're they're the away jerseys, right? People are saying, well, they're white. Army's the away team. They have white, light jerseys this year. They do not wear dark jerseys. But I thought they did. I don't know what you're thinking. Maybe you could tell us what you think about the jersey. I thought they did a really good job on the jerseys. But what stands out to me is the helmets. I like the helmets, man. They're different, right? That's something that you guys – I don't remember any, designs on the helmet. I know a lot of decals and stuff, but not a lot of designs on these Army-Navy helmets usually, right?
Yeah, I know once we made the switch, we rebranded. I think it was my senior year. The helmet had a little, it tried to match the what they wore in, World War II over their helmet. They had a little design and stuff.
The bells hold. Yeah.
These helmets are great. It matches the vibe and the camouflage of the fighting in the Middle East. So I think they did a great job. And Nike also did a great job. Yeah,
no, I don't know. I think this year I'm guessing the nameplate is going to be still on, right? They're going to still have the last name of the players on, even though it has the one kind of saying on the nameplate. I think that's going to, you'll have names on the uniforms too. And United We Stand on the back, right? I mean, that's a powerful message in itself. And
absolutely.
You look at the Navy jerseys, and Andrew, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but I'll talk about it. I mean, I can't. Sometimes I think my first thought was Air Force, right? My second thought was Top Gun, and they're the home jersey, so they have a color to them, right? And Navies are most of the time they're always that blue color. Are they sharp? Yes. Are they better than Army's? I don't think so.
Yeah, I might be biased, but I think the model for the Army jerseys look much bigger than the ones from Navy. If I'll take a shot at Navy, I would say that the person who's modeling Navy is acting like he's putting on a costume, and the person who's modeling for Army is putting on a uniform.
There you go.
That's my 2 cents on it.
That's enough said. That's all that needs to be said. I'll break down the jerseys. You break down Hey, when they were revealed earlier this week, were you included in that or?
No, I had class. But
okay, because I saw a couple guys. One was a strength and conditioning guy. Maybe they were both strength and conditioning guys. So
yeah, I know at least one was strength and conditioning. But that was nice how they brought it there, and I think it was lunch, and they were in the mess hall. So it was pretty cool.
Do you remember how yours were revealed your senior year?
So I was actually at the Defender of the Nation Award dinner when they revealed it, but I think they had the team up at Mikey Stadium and they parachuted in. Okay. But that's a pretty cool reveal. But
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, so I guess the mess hall, is still. I mean, how much? I always wanted to ask, like, Army players, how much do the non-football players that are cadets get into this week with the reveals? Are they big on the reveals? Do they care about the jerseys at all? Or, I mean, how much do they get into it?
Yeah, I don't think the hype was as big until like 2016 year. I think that was like the first year where there was a little bit of hype, and then obviously the Pando Commandos was pretty big. And I think after that, I think West Point decided, to get the core involved in the reveal. I think that's what they started with the Big Red one, and then obviously the subsequent ones they got the core involved. I don't know if they gave out gear this year, but I know for the Big Red one they gave every cadet like a shirt with like the jersey and stuff. So yeah, that's it's pretty cool to get the core involved because obviously we're representing United States Military Academy. We're on that field, and for the core to be a part of it, it's always great.
No doubt. That's pretty cool. Now I'm thinking, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, Andrew, just because it hit my mind. The Pando Commando, I think, was that the one where it was revealed that in Tate Rink with the
yes, with the suit riding in. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. We've had the soup on our podcast. Yeah, cheap plug right there. Hey, I wanted to ask you the Defender of the Nation award, right? You received that your senior year, and this year, Eric Smith is receiving the award. Pretty neat. Second Army guy. He played a position similar to you. He played probably the same position that you did, right? And I guess the defense may change a little bit through coordinators, but both the kind of inside linebacker guys. What do you think about Eric Smith receiving the Defender of the Nation award this year?
Well, one for the Defender of the Nation award, I think we should win every year. This is me, but Eric Smith, there's no one more deserving. He's a hard worker on and off the field. Great cadet, and he's gonna be a great Army officer. He's awesome. I remember coaching him at the prep school, so it's great. He's really coming full circle. Just to see how he grew as a player. I think I didn't have this mentality when I first came in. I just wanted to be on the field as much as possible. And I know when I was like showing him plays, he wanted to know the why behind it. So he got an understanding of defense, like in general, of why linebackers need to fill their gaps, why the safety needs to come on top, why you need to call the defense the right direction. He understood that quickly, and you can see how well he's doing now. He's a great, fantastic player. Tremendous abilities to lead. And I know he's going to be a great leader in our Army.
Yeah, just when you talk to Eric, man, he always seems to be, like you said, he's pretty deep in thought. He's a guy that thinks things through, right? And you look at him on the football field, it's a lot of reaction with him, right? He seems like to know the play before they even maybe hike the ball. And Coach Munkins always talked about him being, and we see it in games, that he's one of the hardest hitters he's ever seen. Was he like that right away at prep or no?
Yeah, we need to teach him how to tackle. He was using his helmet a lot, but he wants to hit anything. There's some drills where I think coaches always say, "Hey, you want us to tell you to like pull it back a little bit," and he's one of those guys who are like, "Hey, we're doing a walkthrough, like pull it back a little bit." He's 100% all the time.
You don't want any of your teammates injured, right? So, man, and so here's a guy, who now you coached him in prep school, and now it's his senior year. He's a captain, and now he's looking for his third win over Navy. And it's a group of guys, and that defense, Andrew. Let's put the Wake Forest game. Wake Forest was a blip on the radar, right? That was a good offense that caught Army's defense, right, that day. But since then, they've been really tough. They've only given up 57 points over the last 4 games. Liberty's offense has some weapons in it, and to hold Liberty's offense to only 1 passing touchdown and another quarterback sneak, what a game they played last week, right?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I don't know if my stats are correct, but I think that we've gotten a turnover on the first possession of the opposing offense's drive every single time, every game. I don't know how many years it's been in a row, but I don't know if anybody's who's a betting person to bet on Army first turnover against the opposing offense, but I'll put that down. Our defense is great, and especially how they approached and played against Liberty was fantastic. That quarterback is probably going to go one of the first 2 quarterbacks picked in the draft, and to be able to frustrate him and their offense and what they tried to do was spectacular. I couldn't ask for a better defensive performance.
Yeah, and you look at they were down Julian McDuffie and Cam Jones at corner, and Isaiah Morris plays and steps up. Isaiah Morris, man, he was physical in that game. Yeah. He wasn't backing down from anybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and they let him play. So there were no pass interference. Maybe there was one, but I don't even know if it's on him. They let him play. He was physical, and then Bo Nicholas Paul gets in there, gets some reps in there, and Jabari Moore comes up with an interception to end the game. Navy's not going to throw the ball much coming up this week. So now we have to. It'd be interesting to see how Navy attacks this Army defense, right? Because you think about it. Andre Carter, right? He's had such a great season rushing the passer, but Andre Carter is a pretty versatile defender, right? Mm-hmm. Will they run at Carter? Will they run away from Carter? But then there's so many guys on this defense that can make. If you're running away from Carter, you're probably running at Eric Smith. Then, right? Are they going to fullback dive Army to forever? They did put up I think 38 points last week. So I mean, their offense is maybe finding its rhythm. I mean, when you were playing them, were you just so keyed on the fullback dive, or did you have to be aware of the complete triple option, right? Or no?
Yeah, you're always aware of it, but playing teams like Navy, you need to be assignment sound. They're a well-coached football team, and if you think you know the play, their offensive coordinator is going to see it, their head coach is going to see it, and they're going to run misdirection. And then if one person misses an assignment in a triple option, you can be a touchdown. So you need to be assignment sound, and that's how we were coached. And I know that's how Coach Munkin and his staff is going to approach this game. They're a well-coached team. They've won a lot of games in the past decade. They won championships. They beat us a lot more than we beat them in the last decade, so they know how to win. So I think they're gonna approach the game, with that mentality. They're trying to beat us and not just to roll over because we come in with a better record. This is a game that anybody can win, and the team that executes better is going to come out victorious.
Yeah, look at like the Air Force game this year, right? It seems like these coaches like to maybe throw a surprise at you every once in a while, right? And so when Air Force tries that throwback pass, right? Andre Carter, Andrew, that play by Andre Carter is probably the play of the year for me, for as far as a specific play made by an individual this year, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, for him to think it's going to be he's in the backfield with his eyes, and then for him to backtrack to get his hands on the ball and tip it to basically Cam Jones for an interception.
Yeah,
that's next level stuff right there.
Yeah, that's a player that understands his assignment. He has the flats from the sideline to the hash mark, from end zone to end zone, and he knows that's his assignment. And great play by a great player. Just showing maximum effort and not giving up on the play. That's the special guy.
I don't think he's getting enough credit for the season that he's had this year. And he played very well at Wisconsin, right? And that was a marquee game for Army. And man, I've said that he should get some consideration for All-American the season that he's had this year. Some people say, well, there's not enough visibility with the Army program. And I'm like, man, watch this guy. Well, this is another place where he can showcase his talents in the Army-Navy game, right? Everybody's watching this game. There's not another game on, I don't think, this time around. And man, he'll be, he certainly be in the spotlight. So I mean, another chance for him.
And right? That's on lie when they go to ncaa.com, .org, and they look up who's a sacks leader, and they see somebody up there. Like, you have to give him consideration for that. Army's a national televised program. I think there's some biases for other conferences and whatnot, but I'm sure that the Football Writers Association, whoever votes, will understand his impact and how. I mean, we have a top defense in the country, and for a player who has one of the best stat lines in the country, not be considered for recognized for something like that will be unbelievable to me. But I'm sure Andre is focused on winning, so
he doesn't care, right?
He doesn't care about any of that. So.
He wants to beat Navy, right? Just like everybody else in that locker room. And when I remember hearing the celebrations when we're waiting for press conferences right after the game, and we can hear you guys celebrating in the locker room, and the locker room echoing. I remember, I believe your senior year, you opened at Temple, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember being at Lincoln Financial Field and waiting for the press conference for Coach Munkett. And man, that locker room was buzzing forever after that one. That really got you guys going that year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good start. And then the Army-Navy game that year too. Wow. So, I mean, I can't imagine what the locker room will be like on next Saturday if Army wins again, right? Because like we said, they're favorite, they're expected, but there's nothing that probably you can say this. There's nothing more than it means to players about beating your rival, right, in a game like that, where Navy season's over after this, right? Army has another game, but if Army beats Navy and they can win the bowl game, that's another 10-win season for Army. So
absolutely. I'm sure Coach Muggins sees that bigger picture, but he's focused on this first game. We need to beat them. That's the message. When we come out the locker room, we go out to practice. We see beat Navy clock the timer, the countdown. So we're focused on beating Navy all year round, 365, every sport. So
yeah. It's gonna be great next Saturday, and man, they'll have Andrew King will be in attendance. I'll be down there too, covering the game. Black Knight Nation will be there. We have some. I think we're gonna have some pretty good guests coming up next week too to talk about the rivalry, so to speak. Andrew, we really appreciate you having you on tonight, and thanks for the insight on the game. And like you said, no doubt, just being a part of this reveal, it's something that keeps you certainly. You definitely you still feel a part of the program when you graduate, right? But yeah. I'm guessing like to be a part of this reveal and have the photos of the New Jerseys. You're wearing them for the pictures for the New Jerseys. That's another memory that you're never going to forget, and you just keep on building, even though you started building this program right in the foundation to winning your senior year, and now to watch this from the stands and to still be involved, have a part of a piece of the program. It's gotta be special. So
yeah, I'm truly blessed to be in the position I'm in right now. I couldn't ask for better circumstances, and this brotherhood is very strong, and once you're a part of it, you're never a part of it, if that makes sense. So.
Yep, no doubt. Really appreciate you having you on tonight. Second time Andrew King on the Black Knight Nation podcast. We're going to have Andrew back. We're going to have him back again, no doubt, down the road. Really appreciate it, Andrew. Thanks so much for your insight and being here with us.
Thanks, Al. I appreciate it.